They say the universe runs on laws, gravity, time, entropy. But those who were there, those who survived, know that on the third rotation of the 11th spiral in the Zenthary quadrant, an entire star system collapsed not because of physics, but because of her. Her name was Sarah Noor, born on Earth but known in the outer systems as the Harmonic. She wasn't a soldier, not an admiral, not a senator or queen. She was a singer. That's all. Or at least, that's what the galaxy believed, until the day she opened her mouth and brought an empire to its knees. Her voice was first heard in the refugee arcs orbiting Neptune. Earth had long since fractured into city-states and orbital tribes. Music had been banned in many regions, not out of cruelty, but because sound took bandwidth, and bandwidth meant survival. But in the dark corners of the floating slums, Sarah sang anyway. Not for crowds. Not for applause. Just to soothe children too young to understand hunger. Her voice didn't carry through speakers or devices. It didn't need to. People simply stopped, listened, cried, smiled, and somehow remembered who they were, if only for a moment. That was the first sign. Then came the invitation. The Atraxian Syndicate, a powerful tri-system alliance known for cultural curation and brutal diplomacy, sent an envoy. Sarah's voice had been detected via long-range vibrational scanners. The Atraxians, proud collectors of the rare and beautiful, offered her a contract. One that would make her a star across galaxies. Sarah declined. She said, "I sing for those who've lost their names. Not for your arenas." The Atraxians do not accept rejection. Days later, the Neptune arcs vanished. All of them. No distress signals. No survivors. The only evidence left was a data trail showing 23 refugee vessels erased from the system. Earth cried. The galaxies stayed silent. And then, something happened that changed everything. Sarah walked into the Galactic Conclave, a place reserved for politicians and generals, and requested a single minute of speaking time. They laughed. She insisted. When she stepped into the echo chamber floor, barefoot, clad in a threadbare robe stitched from orbital debris, no one expected more than a protest. But she didn't speak. She sang. There are no recordings of what she sang. Not because it wasn't captured, but because every device, every archive, every neural implant in range, overheated and erased itself during the performance. Artificial intelligences monitoring the feed fell into recursive loops. 5 senators collapsed. One, reportedly, died with tears on his cheeks. And somewhere in the Zenthary quadrant, over 50 light-years away, the Atraxian homeworld, Solith Prime, imploded. Scientists said it was a chain reaction of unstable cores. But that didn't explain why the collapse happened exactly as she hit the final note. No weapons were fired. No fleets deployed. Just her voice. Suddenly, everyone wanted her. The Technarchs of Relix offered her a planet. The Lords of RHYX tried to clone her. The Atari Empire declared her an interstellar weapon and demanded she be contained. Even Earth's fragmented governments begged her to return, to become their new anthem. She disappeared. For almost a year, she was a myth. Stories spread that she now lived among asteroid monasteries where monks carved sound into stone, that she had unlocked the fundamental vibration of reality itself, that her songs were gateways between life and death. Then came the siege of Kelverin. The Kelverin system, a peaceful nexus of trade and biodiversity, was targeted by the Coalition of Silence, a regime built on control, surveillance, and the eradication of emotion-based disobedience. They sent 10,000 ships to burn Kelverin to the ground. And in orbit, as the first bombs fell, she appeared. No ship. No army. Just her. Standing on a lone satellite dish that had gone dark centuries ago. And again, she sang. Not long. Just one sustained note, impossible to replicate, deeper than gravity, softer than breath. The attacking fleet turned on itself. Pilots dropped their controls and wept. AI commanders erased their own cores. One battleship began broadcasting a baby's lullaby through every channel until its engines melted. The Coalition of Silence fell that day. Because of one voice. One woman. Afterward, she was hunted, of course. Capturing her became the obsession of empires. Bounties were issued, entire planets offered in exchange for her location. The Anti-Harmonic League formed, declaring her a universal threat. Cities were forced to implement silence protocols. But every time they tried to trap her, someone, intervened. A fleet of pirates once turned against their employer just to smuggle her past a checkpoint. An extinct race, the Orvali, re-emerged just to protect her from an ambush. Even black hole miners reported seeing her reflection in the singularity, untouched, as if the universe itself bent to shield her. It became clear, she was no longer just human. Then came the prophecy. A race of sentient code, the archivists, claimed to have mapped all of time and probability. They said the timeline where the galaxy survived led through one path.
Her final song.
Not just to destroy,
But to heal.
Civilizations began to beg, not for her capture, but her concert. Worlds devastated by war offered their last breath just to hear her voice.
Dying stars pulsed in anticipation.
The galaxy, brutal and ancient, held its breath. And finally, she agreed.
One stage. One audience. One song.
She chose to sing on a dead moon, Lethe, once the site of a mass extinction. Billions came, in body or broadcast, just to hear her. Some believed it would be a weapon. Others, a resurrection.
No one was prepared.
Her voice that day did not destroy.
It awakened.
Languages forgotten for eons sparked in listeners' minds. Traumas buried across generations lifted, not erased, but transformed. Artificial intelligences cried. Children born mid-song had stars in their eyes, literally, their irises shimmered with galaxies. Black holes pulsed in rhythm with her harmony. And then, as quietly as she arrived,
she vanished.
No one knows where she went. Some say she became sound itself. Others claim she transcended form and lives in every vibration of every atom.
But her echo remains.
Ships that pass through certain sectors report hearing a melody in the engines. Crying children sometimes calm to a tune their parents don't remember learning. Entire species changed their alphabets to better capture music. And in the ruins of the Atraxian Empire, carved into obsidian, are words in old Earth tongue.
She sang once. And we collapsed. Not from weakness,
but from finally feeling everything we tried to forget. Her name is whispered like a sacred chord.
Sarah Noor.
The woman who reminded the stars they had hearts.
And who taught the galaxy to weep.